Magnus went and did something absolutely ridiculous. The guy scored a perfect 9 out of 9 at the Grandelius Freestyle Open, and honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. You know how brutal freestyle can be? Throw the pieces anywhere, toss your opening prep out of the window, and suddenly even super GMs are stumbling around like amateurs. But Magnus is Magnus, the GOAT! So let's dive into what he actually pulled off. The tournament setup. Magnus entered the Grandelius Freestyle Chess Open in Karlsruhe, Germany, one of the biggest Chess 960 tournaments in the world. Chess 960, also called Fischer Random, randomizes the starting position of pieces on the back rank. There are 960 possible starting positions, hence the name. This means players can't rely on memorized opening theory. Every game begins with pieces in unfamiliar positions. Your king might start on d1, rooks can be on b1 and g1, bishops scattered wherever. Players must calculate and understand positions from move 1 without any preparation to fall back on. The tournament featured over 3,000 participants across multiple sections, with the main open attracting elite grandmasters from around the globe. Classical time controls of 90 minutes plus 30-second increment meant those were serious, full-length games. The total prize fund was €225,000 with €60,000 for the first place. Magnus's perfect 9-game run. Round 1 versus Vincenz Hillerman. IM2200. Starting from chess 960 position 758, Magnus threw everyone off by playing 1g4. Completely aggressive and totally unexpected. In regular chess, this would be suicide, but in this scrambled setup, pure genius. Poor Hillerman had no clue what hit him. Magnus developed his pieces with perfect harmony, while the German IM stumbled around trying to figure out basic coordination. Within 18 moves, Magnus had dismantled him completely. Sometimes you've got to feel bad for these low-rated players stepping into the ring with a monster, but this was just a warm-up for what was coming. Round 2 versus Vaclav Finek. IM2450. Finek tried to get clever and create some chaos in the middle game, probably thinking he could confuse Magnus with complications. Big mistake. Magnus saw through every trick, calculated deeper than his opponent could even imagine, and just crushed him methodically. Every time Finek thought he had something going, Magnus had already seen it 3 moves ago. You could see Finek's hopes dying with each move as he realized he was completely outgunned. Round 3 versus Nils Grandelius. GM2640. Now things got real. Grandelius isn't just any GM. He used to be Magnus's second, so he knows how the guy thinks. And honestly, he had Magnus in serious trouble. Grandelius built up his terrifying attack that had Magnus thinking for ages, clock ticking down, sweat building. For a moment it looked like the perfect run might end in round 3. Then came the moment Magnus played 30rh1, which looked completely passive, almost like giving up. Grandelius must have thought, finally I've got him, and played 30 ng6. Wrong. Magnus unleashed 31 qf5, and suddenly Grandelius was the one getting mated. The look on Grandelius' face said it all, and you just can't outplay this guy. Round 4 versus Etienne Bacrot, GM2648. The selfie game. Bacrot actually asked Magnus for a photo before they played. The audacity. Then he went and got a decent position early on with some solid moves like 1d4, d5, 2 ng3, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, creating this interesting imbalanced structure. Magnus castled queenside early, creating this weird setup that Bacrot clearly hadn't seen before. Everything looked normal until move 18 when Bacrot played b3. Looks innocent, right? Dead wrong. Magnus smashed him with a ba3 plus and a qh5, turning Bacrot's king into target practice. The attack was so brutal that Bacrot probably regretted ever asking for that selfie. Round 5 versus Viktor Mikhailevsky, GM2505. Pressure cooker time. Magnus was the last perfect scorer standing. Everyone else had stumbled or drawn somewhere along the way. The 53-year-old Mikhailevsky came out swinging like his life depended on it. Sacrificing pawns, then his queen, trying to build a mating net around Magnus's king. The old veteran was throwing everything at the wall to see what would stick. Most players would have cracked under this kind of sacrificial assault. Magnus found 23c5, broke his king free, and slowly squeezed the life out of the position. Ice cold under maximum pressure. Round 6 versus A1 Liang, GM 2692. Liang switched tournaments just to get a shot at Magnus. The American prodigy probably wishes he hadn't. Starting from position 380, Magnus outmaneuvered him so smoothly it looked effortless, improving pieces, creating weaknesses, converting advantages. Liang tried everything he could think of, but Magnus was always 2 steps ahead. Every pawn advance, every piece strayed, every little move just made Magnus's position better. Liang got schooled by the master in front of 3,000 people. Round 7 versus Parham Magsudlu, GM 2684. The game that almost broke everything. Magnus played a bad move early, 4d5, and Magsudlu went absolutely mental, creating this insane tactical chaos that had spectators on the edge of their seats. The Iranian had multiple ways to win, and Magnus was genuinely in trouble, calculating desperately while his clock ticked down. But here's where Magnus got psychological. My brain is so fried that I'm not going to calculate properly anyway, so let me just play fast and put time pressure on him. Genius move. Magsudlu kept trying to find the perfect kill shot even when the position turned bad for him. Burned all his time and lost on time, still pushing for a win. Magnus just sat there with that little smirk, knowing he'd gotten away with murder. Round 8 versus Rauf Mamedov, GM 2657. Championship time, Magnus playing black, traded queens on move 4 and steered into this technical endgame. Rook and knight versus rook and bishop. This is where Magnus is basically unbeatable, like watching a master craftsman at work. He squeezed and squeezed, improving his pieces bit by bit, creating tiny threats that kept adding up until Mamedov couldn't handle the pressure anymore. You could see the Azerbaijani GM's confidence cracking as Magnus just ground him down relentlessly. Tournament over, 1 round early. Round 9 versus Vincent Kamer, GM 2718. 40,000 people watching online, the biggest audience of the tournament. Kamer needed a win to have any chance at second place. The kid came out blazing, creating the sharpest, most tactical mess of the whole tournament. For a while it was pure chaos, with both guys calculating like machines, pieces flying everywhere, tactics sprouting from every corner of the board. Then time trouble hit Kamer, and he played this spectacular but flawed knight sacrifice on move 25. NF5. It looked brilliant, the kind of move that would make highlight reels, but Magnus calmly tore it apart and finished his perfect masterpiece 9-0. Done. Historic. When even Magnus can't believe it. After the final game, Magnus Carlsen, the guy who's won everything there is to win in chess, stood there looking slightly stunned. "I'm not going to be able to do that again. That's for sure," he said, and for once he wasn't being modest, he was just stating mathematical reality. To put this in perspective, his performance rating for this tournament was calculated at 3,191. That's higher than Bobby Fischer's legendary 11-0 at the 1963-64 US Championship. It's higher than any tournament performance in chess history. The official Freestyle Chess rating system immediately bumped Magnus to 2909, making him the first player to ever cross the 2900 in any classical timed control. His response: "My wife is way more attracted to me now that I've achieved 2900. Classic Magnus. Why this matters more than you think. This wasn't just Magnus adding another trophy to his collection. This was a statement about the future of chess itself. Fischer random eliminates the opening theory arms race that's been plaguing top-level chess for decades. No more memorizing 30-move computer lines, no more draws agreed after 15 moves of theory, just pure chess, the way Bobby Fischer envisioned it when he invented the format. Magnus has been pushing Chess 960 for years, saying it brings back a childish joy in just playing chess rather than being worried about openings and rating points. Winning a major tournament 9-0 in this format sends a message. This isn't just a fun side event anymore, this is serious chess. The Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour, backed by serious money and serious players, could revolutionize competitive chess, and Magnus just proved it works by delivering one of the most dominant performances in chess history. 7 players tied for second place with 7 out of 9 points. Names like Fabiano Caruana, the guy who almost beat Magnus for the World Championship. Lenier Dominguez, one of the most solid players alive. Arjun Erigesi, India's rising superstar. Magnus beat them all by 2 full points. What happens next? Magnus collected his €60,000 and 25 Grand Slam Tour points, but more importantly, he collected something you can't put a price on. A perfect tournament that'll be remembered forever. The chess world is still trying to process what happened in Karlsruhe. Reddit threads are calling it the greatest tournament performance ever. YouTube channels are breaking down every game. Grandmasters are tweeting things like, Magnus is playing a different game, folks. And Magnus, he's probably already thinking about the next tournament, the next challenge, the next impossible thing to accomplish. Because that's what legends do. They don't just break records, they shatter them so completely that it takes years for anyone else to catch up. 9 games, 9 wins, 1 perfect score that might never be matched. That's how you make chess history.